Buen dia. Hey guys, Sarah Lingares here. This is another episode of the Weekend Feels Energy Report from Madeira with love. How is everyone doing? We had a major week this week. We've had some serious shifts energetically speaking. There's been a lot of activity happening all week. So it's been a pretty massive week so far. So I'm guessing that most of you have been going through all kinds of things. Stuff is coming up to be looked at, to be examined. We're still on the heels of that incredibly powerful full moon in Scorpio from the last week as well, that just floored us energetically as we prepare for the new cycle. Okay, so we have some pretty serious retrograde action happening right now. We have truly embarked upon retrograde season. Okay, this week 3 planets went into retrograde, major planets. Okay, and remember, retrograde means the planet appears to slow down and go backwards, but what it means in terms of the energy, astrologically speaking, is it's a time to review and to go, a little introspection, reflection, and go through, reassess, and learn some lessons about what those planets represent and what sign they're in. So those themes are coming up for us to review. So as of right now, we have 4 planets in retrograde, which is powerful stuff. Okay, we first had the Pluto retrograde not that long ago, which started off the whole thing, and we began this week with Saturn retrograde. Okay, and Saturn is in retrograde in Aquarius, going back into Capricorn for 4 months. Okay, Saturn is the ruler of karma, time, responsibility, limitations, boundaries, rules, regulations. So we are really entering a moment where we are examining our responsibility, okay? And we're also examining our karma. Retrograde season is always a very powerful mixture of past, present, future, all blending into one, okay? And often during any retrograde of any planet, stuff from the past coming up, because it's under review. We want to see what choices, what actions we've taken in our past that have brought us to the present moment. And it really becomes quite clear and obvious what doesn't work, and where we are limiting ourselves, where we need to grow, where we need to expand, what we need to release. Retrograde season is also a huge releasing period. So we're really stuff's gonna come up, and retrograde season can be a bit of a wild ride of emotions, because we're examining our lives. We're examining what really works, what really doesn't work. Okay, so a lot of emotions. It's quite an emotional moment in time, like ups and downs. Already has been a very intense 2020, but this continues our deep examination, reflection, purging, realizing, and surrendering, letting go, and allowing what no longer serves us to just fall away, and allowing whatever is meant for us to come to us. Okay, typically a retrograde season, things slow down. You can have this sort of hanged man feeling, like a bit stuck, like energy could be stuck. So Saturnian, the way that you are responsible in the world, what you're responsible for, the limitations, you might feel extra limitation, extra delays, extra pressure on you in the next while, unfortunately. And also Saturn is a big thing about Saturn. It brings up fear. Saturn brings up fear and anxiety. Actually, I would say, generally speaking, this time is perhaps going to bring up a bunch of fears and anxiety. Let's just be real. Because we're feeling all the things that don't work. So we just had this powerful moon in Scorpio, full moon in Scorpio, which was really looking at our subconscious, our underworld, our shadow selves. So we've had stuff come up, and now we're starting to examine our fears. We've already been working with fear all year. This is a major theme, is learning to have a relationship with fear and overcoming fears and understanding which fears are actually useful and what help you stay alive and help you do what you need to do, and what fears are imagined. Most fear is imagined. It's a concept in our mind of something in the future that may not even happen, or a fear that something will happen again like the last time. It's not like the last time. Everything is different. So fear is coming up in a big way. Anxiety is coming up, We do have a lot of energy, Gemini energy as well, which is like hard on the nervous system, exciting, but hard on the nervous system. Along with the Saturn retrograde, another retrograde that brings up our fears is Pluto. Okay, the Pluto retrograde, I spoke about it before, but it's happening for the next 3 months, and Pluto really wants us to examine our relationship with power and control. Okay, this is an excellent moment to examine what has control over you. Addictions, behaviors, modes of thinking, things that rob you of your power and your mastery. So this is, fear is one of those things. We can be controlled by our fears and doing things or not doing things because we have this fear. So this is an excellent time to examine what has control on you, what has power on you, over you, and what can you release that no longer serves you, because we're all upgrading, we're all expanding, growing, becoming, learning, evolving, right? So whatever is really holding you back from shining, that's going to come up. And, death, again, Pluto is death, rebirth, and the deep transformation. So again, fears coming up about death. It's an intense time. I mean, you guys already know that, right? So, but the beautiful thing is that we get to look at it. We have this time to look at it, examine it, and let it go, right? Another retrograde, massive retrograde, people. Probably the most, altogether, it's quite a sky full of energetic stuff to deal with. But probably one of the strongest retrogrades we can have is actually Venus retrograde. The reason being, Venus is such a powerful force in our lives. Venus is so present in our world, our immediate world, all things Venusian, being love, the way we give and receive love, relationships, relating, money, beauty, aesthetics, our environment. So the other reason Venus is so powerful is because it doesn't happen every year. We did not have a retrograde in Venus last year. Interestingly, we have both a retrograde in Venus and Mars in 2020, which is not every year, but perfect timing because we have the time to review all of this, right? So Venus is retrograding in Gemini, and this is going to be a powerful time to sort out our karma, to do with relating, to do with love, giving, receiving love, to do with beauty, aesthetic, the way we present ourselves to the world, finances, massive review, okay? Astrologers say not to make massive purchases during the Venus retrograde. Venus retrograde is about 6 weeks, okay? 42 days. So during this time, we may be challenged in the way that we give and receive love. So it might be harder than usual. to give and receive love. There might be something blocking us, okay? Another thing affecting this retrograde in Gemini is the fact that there's a massive aspect between Venus and Neptune for the month. It's been happening for a while. And it's Venus square Neptune, which is a tension challenge aspect, which means Neptune is the beautiful, incredible, fantastical, magical planet, but can also lead to confusion, illusion, okay? So when you have a Venus and a Neptune hard aspect, we call it a hard aspect, things can get a little murky, mucky, confusing, and we can really want affection and connection, but we can also be potentially delusional and confused about what's real. So this is just making this particular Venus retrograde even more sticky, if we could say that, okay? So just examine the way you're relating, like everything's up for review, and don't be surprised if you're all of a sudden looking at your old photos of your exes or going through old relationships, because, or if old people that we were involved with start contacting us and like want some kind of connection. Sometimes there's this romantic idea, like exes come back and they try to woo us back, but it's all kind of illusory, okay? Because they're coming up, it's coming back to us to review and see, wow, that really didn't work. I really don't want that. So again, dynamics, relating dynamics, like what no longer serves you and what do you really want in your life? Like how do you want to relate to people? Like perfect moment. Venus retrograde as well, people. Let's remember that self-love, self-care, really taking time to make sure you are giving yourself what you need during this very crazy time. It's a beautiful time to connect with yourself and really take care and really love yourself, your vehicle, your body, your life, your essence, your spirit, by spending some time with yourself. Also with this hard aspect Venus-Neptune, we can get into some really, I don't want to say useless thinking, but unnecessary thought patterns, especially since it's in Gemini, because it's very fast stimulation of insecurities, low self-esteem, particularly in a intimate relationship, okay? Could be friends, could be lovers, partners, whatever, but we could be feeling some kind of insecurities that are totally unnecessary because we're feeling this sort of delusion and we might be seeing ourselves in this light instead of seeing what actually is. So it's kind of a confusing time. Absolutely. So just be gentle with yourselves and give yourselves whatever you need, like always, truly, okay? Next retrograde is Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn, okay? So introspection, reflection on Jupiter rules is the biggest planet in the solar system, and it's abundance, it's luck, it's success, happiness. So we are reviewing during this, how long is it for? Oh, until September as well. So about 4 months. Issues involving growth, development, happiness, success. So this is an excellent time to review. Where do you want to expand your life? Where do you want to grow? What is your vision of success? Like, we're redefining what success and happiness means to us. And, you know, always during retrogrades, there may be some very strange, karmic, fated encounters or situations that are sort of forcing you to learn a lesson, to let go of an old modality and upgrade into the new modality. Basically, by the time we finish this retrospective retrograde, we will have a much clearer idea of what we feel and what we want in all of these domains. So if you guys know anything about astrology already, if you have your natal chart, one thing you can do is look on your chart and see what is the area of life that you have Saturn is retrograding Aquarius. So see where Aquarius is, which house. Look and see what Gemini is, what house it is. House meaning what is the theme that's being touched upon, that's being examined, okay? And then 2 in Capricorn. So right now we're reviewing our Capricorn, our Gemini, and our Aquarius, soon to be back to Capricorn. So we have a heavy emphasis on Capricorn and Gemini, okay? Because Gemini, we have Mercury, who just went into Gemini. So we have an extra focus on Gemini. We have the North Node that just went into Gemini. So we have very heavy Gemini focus, very heavy Capricorn focus. So if you look on your chart, you can see what is coming up for you. And it's going to be quite an interesting couple months because, you know, we're not going to be charging ahead with life. We are going to be totally reviewing. So it's just an excellent time to really take the time to understand yourself better, because, you know, when we get out of the retrograde season, September, October, even longer, because it takes such a long time to get out of the shadow of the retrograde, which means it's still affecting us, right? We'll be moving forward with our new lives, but right now we're creating our new lives, okay? We're creating our new lives here and here. So really give yourself that time and be gentle with yourself. You know, fear is going to come up, anxiety is going to come up, sadness is going to come up always during a review period. You know, joy is going to come up. Everything's coming up, but whatever is coming up, it's perfect. It's perfect because you need to look at it in order to evolve and upgrade and move into your next incredible version of yourself, right? Another thing that happened this week is Mars went into Pisces. So Mars is our drive, action, and Pisces is this beautiful, watery, magical sign. So our drive is all a bit like this now. So we're really sort of in the thick of it. We also have Neptune and Pisces for a very long time. So guys, we're having this sort of moment here to just, let's go within. Let's just be there for ourselves. Let's review, you know, and all I can suggest is not to have too many expectations of anyone else or even yourself. Like, this is not a normal time, and it's perfect timing for the review, okay? So really give yourself that time. We're in the last days of Taurus season. Taurus, you know, oh, another thing we want to review is pleasure. How we enjoy pleasure. Pleasure, sensuality, feeling all our senses, you know, with this Venus retrograde. But also being in the last days of Taurus, Uranus, the planet of rebellion, is under the sign of Taurus until 2026. So, you know, Taurus wants us to upgrade. It wants us to enjoy. It wants us to have pleasure. Okay, next week we go into Gemini season, which is going to be electric. So let's just, you know, enjoy this weekend. Maybe have some downtime. Enjoy what you have, what you've done, how you've gotten through this time. You know, you're doing an amazing job, right? And there's a lot more. There's a lot more coming up. Guys, I pulled this card today, which I found interesting, the moon. So the moon is a pretty heavy card because the moon is all about our emotional selves. And the moon can bring up fears, anxiety, illusions, our subconscious. The moon is such a beautiful, powerful force for us to work with. And it is a time when there's going to be some perhaps unpleasant emotions, lots of emotions. So just give yourself the time to process those emotions, because whatever you're feeling, it's what you need to feel. So you don't need to judge yourself. You don't need to feel bad because you always feel a certain way at a certain time. No, you can just feel your feels. Just feel it. Just feel it. Let yourself feel it. Okay. I also pulled this card for us, integration, second time this week. And this card is gorgeous. This is a beautiful card. that talks about the fusion of duality, fusing the two sides of self, how man exists split within, but with that alchemy, that inner alchemy, you can bring yourself, integrate yourself into that whole being. So this is a time of integrating ourselves, fusing the duality. Gemini is the sign of duality. So integration is really part of our mastery, our work on bringing everything together, to not reject the dark, to not reject the ugly, to allow it to integrate within us so that we can just be who we are and enjoy living in this incredible earth we live in, with these incredible bodies and these incredible minds and these incredible people. So let's always remember to be grateful. Guys, I'm going to let you go now. So I wish you tons of love during this wild, crazy time. Again, please contact me if you want a personal reading. I would love to examine your unique natal chart and help you understand the sky's influence on your incredible life, destiny, and karma. Ok, sending you so much love. Beijinhos. Fica muito bem, tá bem? Beijinhos.